Welcome back to another fight breakdown. Today, what we're going to be getting into is a fight that Amin had actually recently, as late as November of last year, 2022. Um, when you look at the matchup here in the bottom of the screen, you can pretty much see the records are somewhat similar. Amin has a little bit more experience. Um, Definitely looks like he doesn't have a nose. I don't know how that happened. It's like the lighting or something. It just looks like he has two holes in his face. But anyways, it was a fight against someone that also brings a lot of tenacity and a lot of explosiveness to the cage, and it's a style that Amin has crafted over the years. And I think that this was a coming out party for Amin to really establish himself as far as the mental aspect. Whenever we're doing fight breakdowns, or anyone does fight breakdowns, you don't really get to dive into the mental aspect that goes into it. What's going on in the back, what the fighter's thinking, what they're saying to themselves, what they're saying to their coaches, what the coaches are saying to the fighters, what their teammates are saying to them. And it just goes back and forth, but there's a lot of that goes into it, especially with the mental aspect. When you have a day on a calendar that says you're going to be fighting someone, you're going to be locked in a cage with someone, there's a little bit more anxiety that goes into that than if someone walks past you on the street, steps on your Converse or something, and you start to get upset, and you push them, you start swinging. You don't have to really think about it; you just do it. Not the same when it comes to MMA. So for all those guys that say that they see red in street fights, we are not the same. So let's just get into it really quick. Just gonna start breaking this down as we get along. It is a first round finish, which seems kind of lazy to break it down. So maybe I'll just keep pausing it. I don't know. But but yeah, I think it's a great fight to break down because there was a lot of action in a short period of time, and sometimes it's kind of hard to find all those moments in time, but we're gonna do our best here. There you see Mike Davis, Emmanuel Sanchez, Bellator fighter. Ignite puts on really good cards. Bourbon Street is where I actually had a few of my amateur fights coming up. Um, it's a great venue, a lot of energy. I mean, it feels like the crowd's right there. So it was awesome to bring us back to that place and to see Amin go out there and do his thing. And you see Amin, Sean Terrence in the corner. Sean is a phenomenal coach. There's his twin, Rob Magical. Rob not even doing his job as normal, looking down at his phone, probably watching one of my breakdowns. But anyways, the announcer's jacket is crazy. So when we start this fight off, the first thing you got to do is just kind of watch. Right when Amin comes off the gate, he wants to establish the center of the cage. So if you notice, look at this, right away. Now, good and bad here, okay? Good and bad. So I just want to kind of point a few things out. And are we going to work on this moving forward? 100%. But just so you guys can see this right here, when people talk about lead foot dominance, this is lead foot dominance. This is where one individual, a southpaw, going against an orthodox fighter. And whenever we're in this battle, we want to see who can get the lead foot dominance. And right now, Amin is doing that. Now, this is just going back to basics, so I'm not going to get too mad at Amin about this, but if you notice, he took too big of a step, and what ended up happening is he landed on the heel first, which, when your coaches are training you and they're talking to you about this stuff, they should always tell you, ball the foot. Easier said than done, of course, because we're in the heat of it, but that's the goal, okay? Now, once Amin starts to throw, bam, left hand off the gate. That was such a nice left hand. I'm sorry, I'm going to play that again. Okay, so Amin comes in, steps in, 1-2. Bam, lands it. Lead low kick, of course. Now, that one he rushed, and because he rushed it, his opponent did a good job of catching the kick. Amin fell to his back. His opponent just wanted to stand with him. That's something that Cameron does well. Good counter left hand off that kick. Right there is another aspect where Cameron waved him on, and right away, Amin, if you know Amin, Not the best idea, because that's exactly what he did. Now, again, look at this now. This is coming back from Cameron's point of view. Look at this. Lead foot dominance, right? So when we get into that aspect of mismatched lead, that's something that you're probably going to see. You're going to see orthodox fighter looking to get that as opposed to the southpaw fighter and vice versa. Bam, steps in with his 1-2. Now you see he's starting to press in. Okay, here we go. Small little details. And again, when you're watching fights, I always tell people this, and it sounds silly, but you know, sometimes it's fun just to kind of watch the feet. Just watch that play, that back and forth battle. You know, who's winning that battle. Because when you watch when they enter, that's what you're looking to see. Now here, Amin stepped in, and you know, when he threw his cross, squared up, gave his hips up. Cameron did a great job of getting underneath that punch. Amin does a great job of utilizing this underhook. Starts to get his hips back. And now right here, Amin gets him against the cage. Not the best angle, but you guys can see the head positioning right here. He's got a good, here we go. So a couple details here that we gotta break down. So he's got a nice high underhook right here. And then this is the head position battle that he's winning. Okay. Now, if you guys notice, his right hip is a little bit farther, right? He's kind of keeping it back. He should have that thing a little bit tighter. This right here is Cameron's hand, I believe, doing a good job of trying to get inside position on Amin's hand, trying to take away his ability to not only strike, but then also to utilizing that to get to an underhook where he can do the same thing Amin did, punch that thing up and try out of position. Yeah, it's not inside position. Amin does a great job of fighting back, and there's that back and forth battle. Right? There's that back and forth battle. Now here Amin has good positioning. He throws a knee, disengages. He wanted to keep it on the feet. There's a good right hook. And one thing that you're noticing is a tendency from his opponent where he's starting to drop his head. So every time Amin goes to step in with a big punch, if you guys notice that, he keeps lowering his level. When we went back to the beginning of the fight, if you rewind this video, because I'm not going to do that to you guys, when Amin stepped in with that first 1-2, that's exactly what Cameron wanted to do, was level change, okay? And obviously when he got into that body lock, he went underneath Amin's left hand. So Sean was in the corner and he was trying to yell at Amin, fire the uppercut. There's a good right hook. Fire the rear uppercut. He's literally lowering himself in. Look at that, right into that. Bam, there's the first one. So that's where Sean's message got through to Amin and he was able to land that first uppercut. Now right from here, lead low kick. Another one. He ducked right into it. That one's very hard to see, guys, but that's where the finish comes from, okay? This is not good positioning. You know, again, respect to his opponent, but it's not good positioning. When you're looking down, you're not seeing what's happening, right? When you're looking down, where you look is where you go, especially when it comes to wrestling. If I shoot with my head looking at the mat, most likely I'm going to get sprawled on. So right here, it's just not good positioning on his end. There's the first uppercut. Now I'm going to try, bam, there's the second uppercut. And I know it's very hard to see, it's very fast, but that's what's hurt Cameron. Gets on top, and right away it's over, right? Right away. Once he lands that thing, it's pretty much over. Amin is super hyped. You know, again, he went into this fight with just this fire in his eyes. He was ready to go. He wanted to be there. He wanted to be in there. He wanted to hurt his opponent. He came out very aggressive, and it paid off. Look at that. And here's the other one. Bam, another one. It's a very short shot, but the reason why is because he's lowering himself into it. So when you watch him, you know, they do a great job of showing it. Bam. Now watch this second one. Bam. He lowers into it again. And that's, you know, again, that unfortunately causes him to get caught with that uppercut. But that was just great timing by Amin. You know, Amin made the read. He listened to his coaches, which was Sean who called that out. Listened to his coaches, and, you know, Sean saw that this kid was dipping. And every time he dipped, you know, Amin was finally able to start taking advantage of that. And a very quick realization by Sean, too. You know, it doesn't take a lot to find out what someone is doing in that fight. And he gave this reaction. And Amin was able to exploit that reaction, you know. So kudos to Amin for, again, being the person in there doing it. It's one thing for us, right, to be out here and to criticize fighters and to talk about things they do right, they do wrong, but we're not the ones in there, right? We're not the ones in there. So unless you're the one in there, you're the one that's going through it. You're the one that's kind of putting the work in. You're the one getting in that cage and getting beat up. Oh, guess you guys know which one I'm doing next. You're the one getting beat up. It's a lot different, you know. So awesome fight. I'm very proud of Amin for that performance, and you know, even his follow-up one, which I really hope you guys are able to see. If you guys don't know, Amin's next fight, he'll be turning pro. So we're very excited for that. But again, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, please like, subscribe, whatever you guys can. We greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you guys just tuning in. If you find these videos great, please, you know, leave a comment, let us know, share it with your friends and family. And again, thank you guys for tuning in.